Sucks to be dead. My name is Rick, and these are the Dreadful Minutes. Yes, this video is titled, At the Sphincter of Winter. Is the asshole of winter. Why do I say that? Because when you think of a storm at the eye, which is usually the center, is where it's calm and serene, right? Like a hurricane. But when you look back at this season, now I'm talking about folks who live in particular parts of the world. Here in the U.S., if you're not in Florida or California, you got hit with some pretty inclement conditions. And we've had power outages, all kinds of things happening. Not to mention, we're still in this pandemic while all this stuff is happening. So this particular video got me thinking, and I decided to show some releases that kind of are more on the reflective, looking inward, and more emotive. So these four bands, I decided to kind of just talk about them and see what some of you may have been missing out on. And I've been enjoying these very much. So without further ado, let's get started. First up is Inexorum. The album is called Moonlit Navigation. And I first got wind of these guys, funny enough, through a channel called the All Thing channel. And that channel, I don't think anybody even noticed was put up. It was run by, or still is, here's why I say this, Todd. You may know him from Canis Dirus. So he's one of the duos, or should I say now trio, of that band. And in his particular channel, which I happened to stumble into, he only has 2 videos up. He hasn't put anything up for months. So I don't know what's going on with that channel. But in one of the videos, he does a full review of this record. And he talked about it so passionately and just broke it down in a way that I probably still won't do it justice here. But, my fucking God, this was a lot to take in. This was quite an experience. These guys from Minneapolis are what, I don't even know if it does it justice, a melodic black death band, and features 2 members who are from a band you may or may not be familiar with called Antiverse, which are more of the black thrash kind of category. Very interesting that they moved to something with this kind of a sonic output. I know that one of the members actually plays live for Obsequii, which is kind of a nice, cherry on top. So Inexorum, you can take a lot from what you see on this cover. I still recommend checking out Todd's more thorough review of this record. This dropped, like I said, in June last year, and I have not seen many people talk about it, and I'm not sure why. So this consists of melodic with some overlays, should I say, melodic overlays with some blackened elements beneath, kind of working within each other. And the reason I mentioned the cover is because I think it kind of captures a bit of the sonic soundscape. So what I mean is, think of the moon. What does the moon do? It brings in the tides, right? So the earth is working hand in hand with the gravity and with what the moon is doing to kind of, and its force is powerful enough to move the currents. So the gravity that pulls up the current of the ocean is where I see the melodic elements happening. All the songs here have this overlay that just kind of accentuates the sound. And beneath it, you still have this sort of pummeling, which kind of is reminiscent of the waves kind of just crashing into the rocks. And I had this feeling just going throughout this whole album. And it really put me in a place where there's this sort of, almost like this parrying between the harsher elements and the melodic moments happening that is sort of parlaying back and forth with the sound. This is a very interesting listen, and I fell in love with this the moment I first put it on. And this whole thing here, let me pull up the lyric sheet here. I like how they sort of went with the whole nighttime scene here. And here you see sort of this cloudy overcast. It's never sunny. This is not a sunny moment. And this is why I picked it for the winter edition of this video, because it kind of captures that mood quite well. So definitely check it out. Inexorum, Moonlight Navigation. This is the second full length, by the way, which I still need to go and get the first one and explore it a bit more. But I did like what I heard. Next. By next, I meant I forgot to show the record. So I actually have the second pressing of this. Remember when I said I haven't heard many people talk about it, but still it must have sold like wildfire, because this was dropped in June and they were already on the second pressing by July. And so this is the blue purple swirl, and this is the only pressing that I'm aware of as far as the second pressing. The first pressing had, of course, standard black, which is the most limited one. That was 100 copies. And there was a blue gold swirl and then a blue silver swirl for the first press run. I like this very much. I think it fits the mood of the cover very well. But can't go wrong with either copy. So single LP, all 8 tracks fit on here, I guess, just fine. So that's the actual vinyl. Exulansis. The album is called Sequestered Sympathy. So here you can see what looks like now here's the part where I look really stupid. If that's a raven or a crow, I don't know my birds that well, but either way, those birds have certain associations, and they're not usually in the positive. But I think it's very fitting for the theme of this album. So this is 6 tracks, quite long, not super long or anything, but this band out of Oregon. And as you already know, a lot of bands coming out of Oregon are like Oppressive Descent, or very depressing, or just sour, melancholic, something in the water there, could be the weather. So that's a whole nother discussion. But this dropped in 2019, and I believe it was digital first, and then a Transylvanian Tapes put out a tape. And I remember that because Adam Schnellenbach put up a video around that time. I remember seeing that. But I regret not actually checking them out right away. Now, this actual vinyl dropped in April of 2020 and must have done well because Transylvanian Tapes reissued a second pressing of that same cassette in August. This particular run is the only press running that I'm aware of. So here's the inside. As you can see, it's like I'm not quite sure what to make of it. It's kind of this landscape, and it's almost like there's fire or some kind of lava or something going on there. I'm not quite sure entirely what's happening here. Very simple. So this was put out by Alerta Antifascista. And as you can see here, it says Doom Rock. I don't know if they're associated in some way, or maybe they just did the distribution. I actually ordered this through Doom Rock com. After I checked it out, finally got around to it, and holy shit, I was not prepared for what this was going to do to me. See, this is classified as, even then, like a lot of stuff I tend to show, it's hard to really put words into it. So this falls under that Black Doom category. And these guys are a bit different because they really go, whole hog with the electric violin, which adds a lot for the emotional heartstrings. See, I challenge you. Listen to this. Actually, I dare you. I double dog dare you to listen to this whole album and not shed a single tear. You will. I don't care how many hairs you have on your chest. This stuff will pull it out of you. This will have you crying. And this whole project just kind of has that, again, just from the song titles, barren, despondent, all this. So let me get into the cover. I think I understand what this band is trying to do, what they're really about. And you know me, right? I'm about the covers, which in this case, again, hit it out of the park. Because when you look at this raven or crow, and you look within, you notice that the scene is contained within. And look at the title, Sequestered Sympathy. So as you guys notice, the world's full of a lot of pain. And a lot of this pain is sort of contained in ways, almost in a way of accepting a form of defeat that you can't quite output to the world. Because it's not conducive to your emotions. The world's more mechanical, more sterile. And we have this organic creature here that is somber and is just dwelling on whatever it's holding in with its emotions. And it can't output and express in the world what it's inside, which might explain the gatefold. When you look at this sort of lava contained here, it's trying to come out, right? What a volcano does, it builds pressure. So this right here, there are moments when it's folky. I think it kind of helps with the violins, a bit fiddly. I don't know my instruments that well, but that's what I hear. And there are some harsh black moments going on here, and then there are sort of serene, just very very, very desolate sounding moments, which I think creates that doomy atmosphere that gives it its sound. So I got the colored vinyl for this. It's a really nice packaging and presentation. So it was a run of 300, which I think it was in total. So I would say 200 in black. And here is this sort of I don't even know what you call this variant. It has a sort of amber. So this was limited to 100. Really cool. That song, John Bradley, is probably the most personal sounding track here. I don't know who that is, but you can tell it was targeted for this person, or I would imagine was a real person, or is. The song was dedicated to. And it came with a, I'm not sure if all the variants come with a patch. So that is a patch that it came with. And here's a little booklet. Again, Raven Crow. Nice thick cardboard. So these guys, they didn't skimp. Again, keeping that theme going. Pouring emotions, looking to come out, but it desperately can't. The world just won't let it. And so this is, credits and lyrics and all that stuff. So, nice package, nice presentation. So, Exulansis, not sure what that means, but I'm sure it's related. First time hearing this word. So check it out. get your hands on a tape, or if you can, the vinyl is beautiful, or digital. But I've recommended listen. This one here, I'm excited to talk about, and I think that as of late, it's a really good kept secret. So this is a project out of Russia called Spell of Dark, and I found these. How should I say? This guy, because it's just one person, through Bandcamp, and he's already put out quite a number of releases. And as I'm making this video, the latest album called Ghosts from the Past just dropped. For now, it's only in digital format, but I still encourage you to check it out. So for now, I'm going to show the 2 digipacks, which as of the making of this video, it's still available. So if this is something that's up your alley, I would not sleep on it. Because it looks like it's independently released, but may have these distributors, but I don't know if he's signed to them. So I'll show you the latest, which is called The Vastness. Spell of Dark, The Vastness. Here's the disc. Although it's a project out of Russia, I don't think it's actually in that Siberian area. It might be sort of the more lower part of Russia, but you still get a feel like you're in that region, that really lonely, desolate. I mean, Russia is a very large country, so there's just a lot to get lost in already there. And here is an EP. So The Vastness came out in 2019. This EP dropped in 2017, and it's called Journey into the Depths of Winter. This is just 4 tracks, and it looks like one bonus track too. Here, called Dreams. So this is interesting logo treatment they have here. So if they'll let me focus, you can actually see what's going on here. But if you noticed between both covers, they have a sort of similar situation going on with that sort of house with that wintry element. This right here teases dark ambient with depressive metal, black metal. I wouldn't call it suicidal. I'm not sure if that's his aim, but this will put you in a really sour down place. But for a winter listen, and you're in that mood, this is fucking perfect. This will nail it. It's very polished, very well orchestrated, composed, put together, whatever you want to call it. But everything clicks just right. The flow of everything just works. It sounds very natural. There's nothing really crazy and jarring about it. The soundscape of this, what you get from this, it's like, like when you get soot or ash, that's from a fire. But take that element and turn it into snow. So as you're listening to this, you're getting the feeling like this, just this really light, really airy snow coming down and just enveloping you, but in a very slow form. And I feel like the pacing of these releases right here, I almost dropped it, really puts you in that place. And as you're listening to this, there's no sense of company. You truly feel like you're out there in the elements, and no one's coming there to rescue you. No one even notices you're there. Like these houses right here. You can build these houses here, and nobody will know it exists. You're in no man's land. Spell of Dark, an amazing listen, amazing project. Check it out. I fell in love with this immediately. And I'm not just hyping this shit up. It's really good. So that is Spell of Dark. This one was put up by Wolfspell Records or at least distributed it. And this EP by Northern Silence Productions. Again, if you check out Metal Archives, I think it's still listed as independent. It's probably why that latest Ghost from the Past album they just dropped is doesn't have a physical yet. So maybe he's still trying to work it out. But I'll be there first in line to grab it when it comes out. Check it out. So the last release I'm going to talk about today is a project called Amun, A-M-U-N, out of Worthington, Ohio. So I don't have the physical CD because it hasn't arrived yet. But as of the making of this video, I'll put a picture up of the cover so you can see what it is. Hopefully I can show the actual disc in a future video. But nothing to stop me from talking about it now because I'm quite excited about it and it took me to a place also I was not prepared for. So what happened was CJ Yakub, who's now the drummer for Canis Dirus, was also involved in another project, again, Amun, which I was not aware of. I was aware of some other stuff that he's worked on. But this was really cool to know. So on Instagram, it's like 3 a.m, something like that. And he makes the post. And it's like this really personal post. And it involves, I suppose, the deaths of 2 of his friends, which I think one is involved in this project, Joey, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me, CJ, if I'm wrong. And one called Amberin, I believe, was this person's name. I'm not attached to these people, so I don't know the whole backstory. I do know that these people were very monumental and important in his life, and this project that came out of it is dedicated to them. And of course, if they were involved with the albums, it would completely make sense. So anyway, I'm listening to this at like 3 a.m. He makes the post. I'll check it out, and I didn't sleep the rest of the night. It just it touched me here, man. Like there's just something about this album. So Amun, An Absence of Presence. So I'm looking at the Bandcamp page right now, and it has the CD up for sale. I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's 3 tracks, and it falls under that folk atmospheric, but also at times experimental. See, as I'm listening to this, there are some really intense, harsh moments throughout this. And it's not in a way to be sort of menacing. I think it's just the outpouring of stress and loss and just trying to find meaning with what is going on. And as of the making of this album, I'm not sure what they were going through in particular. I can only make so many guesses, but you cannot deny the expression that's happening here. And then the second track for Joey, it's more like a talk or discussion, like almost like this monologue going on inside. It happens in a very spiritual, echoing kind of way. And as I'm listening to this, I thought my Bluetooth headphones were busted because there were moments where it sounds like it's glitching. Like I'm like, it's my headphones fucked up. What's going on here? So I had to go play it back on another device, another pair of speakers, and it happened again. And it just happened suddenly. So that's one of those jarring moments. But then you come to realize that, we live in different planes. We're all in this physical plane. And when you are ready to accept that, there could be another reality, being because we're mortal. We're not meant to be here forever. We move on. And often there could be glitches, in apparitions or whatever it may be that can transcend between different planes. And I feel like that glitch in the Matrix is an effect that was added on these tracks to sort of almost like give you like a jolt and remind you, like, hey, this is some real shit. This is a thing, man. Don't you forget. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, CJ, But that's what I got out of listening to this. Very interesting, very different. Almost like I had a bit like a Nile Croft kind of moment that I was getting out of this. Also, the last track, a very long one. It's like 20 minutes long. And CJ does vocal work on this too. And he does some he does some low register stuff. I wouldn't have known it was him if he didn't mention it to me, which was really cool to know. So not only is he an amazing drummer, everybody involved with this are quite young, and you would think that this was a project put together by people with loads more years of experience, who's been in the scene for quite a long time, because sounds like a very mature output for what it is. And I know there was one more release, or two. Yeah, there was one more release before this, in like a demo release, and then this dropped. So check it out. Out of everything I've been talking about here, it all hits you here. It's very personal, and I think that because of the way Winter has been, these are excellent listens for just very sequestered place of solace, and just making sense of the coldness, whether it's happening in here or experiencing it in real life. But I thought I'd put this last as sort of like it's almost like a farewell, particularly the last track, which is Vessel, Candle, To Be Without. It feels like it's an ascension and ready to move on to another plane. I don't know the whole story, like I mentioned, but that's what I get out of this. And the very little information I got through CJ about this project has really perked my ears and wanted me to explore more. But I encourage you guys to check it out. It's on the Bandcamp. I'll leave a link. And that is Amun, I think is how you say it. Thank you for sticking around and watching this Sphincter of Winter episode. And hopefully by the time, I drop another video, the weather's going to be warmer, the birds will be chirping, and, I could be making episodes about shitty spring. I don't know. But keep it dreadful. Catch you on the next one.